Colorado Christmas. Very good. Very good. Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're going to get started in about 30 seconds. Type in that chat box, where are you calling in from and what is your favorite holiday? Fairfax, Virginia, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I love it. I love it. Very good. If you're just joining us, go ahead and type in that chat box. Where are you calling in from and what is your favorite holiday? We're going to get started in just a few moments. Let's get started. All right, there, I just heard recording in progress. We're good, we're good, we're good. Hello, 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 and welcome everyone from Fairfax Library. Thank you so much for being here at Tina's Joyful Kitchen. We are going to have such a fabulous, joyful time together today. Let me introduce myself and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to make in today's episode. My name is Tina McDermott. I call myself the lazy inspirational chef. I'm a speaker. I'm a weight loss coach. I've been doing this for almost 21 years. This is my love. This is my passion. And I can tell you there's literally no place that I'd rather be than right here, right now, in my kitchen, teaching you how you can find joy in the kitchen, even if you don't know how to cook or like to cook. So you can live a life that's full of health, full of vibrancy, and free from dis-ease, free from diets, free from all of that stuff that we don't want. Yes, that's what we want. Joy and vibrancy and health and all of that other wonderful stuff in our lives. Now, just a little housekeeping before we get started. The internet goes out. Don't worry, we'll be right back. Every time I say it, nothing happens. I love it. I love it. I love it. Nothing happens. Also, when we multitask, we literally experience less joy. I don't know about you, but my life is all about joy. It's all about joy. And we want to experience as much joy as possible. So I'm going to ask a favor. I want you to get your phone. I'm going to double check my phone. And I'm going to ask you, put it on silent. Go ahead and just put that phone right on silent. And please make sure I'm on silent. It won't let me. It wants to stay on. Yes, it's on vibrate. Good. Close out all of your browsers. Close them all out and be with me 100%. And I guarantee you, you will experience a ton of joy with me today. So if you're in to experience joy and be with me 100%, type I'm in the chat. Go ahead and type I'm in the chat. If you are in to be with me 100% today, type I'm in that chat box. Let me see it. I don't get to see your gorgeous faces, but I get to see you in that chat box and I know you're there and you're alive and we are interacting and having a really good time together. Peg says she's in. Rabinder says she's in. Kaylin says she's in. Good, good. Oh, let me tell you what we're making today. My mouth is salivating thinking about it. Holy wow. Before I go there, October is Cancer Awareness Month, specifically Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I just want you to know, my sister passed away 10 years ago this month from breast cancer. And I celebrate her life literally every day of my life because I dedicate my business to her. I want to teach as many people how they can live healthy and not get cancer. All of the recipes that I'm making today are cancer fighting foods. So I want you to be aware of that. Okay, aware of that. And let me tell you, we're going to make, I know that drum roll. Oh, we got a lot of people that are in. Good. We got Vicky, we got Ann, we've got Lynn. Having a hard time seeing these days. All right, here it is. Cauliflower risotto. And who here can roll their R's? Roll your R in that chat. Put a whole bunch of R's if you can roll your R's. Cauliflower risotto. So we're not going to get the starch, the high carb, the sugar that feeds cancer cells from rice. We're going to make it with cauliflower. Then I'm going to make some flounder with wilted spinach. And maybe if I have time, I'll cook up some mushrooms with the flounder as well. And finally, apricot. Actually, I couldn't find apricot. So peaches and ginger yogurt. Peaches and ginger yogurt. That could be a snack. It could be breakfast. It could be lunch. It could be, hey, it's late, I'm hungry, and it could be a dinner, right? So those are all the things that we're going to make. You ready to get started? But get started in the chat if you are ready to get started. If you're ready to get started, but get started in that chat box. Let me see it. Get started in that chat box. Yes, I got one person told me to get started. Actually, I started even before we started today. And turn that on, and we're going to do stir fry. And very first thing, you turn the heat on your pot. Very first thing, you turn the heat on your pot. We're going to start with the cauliflower risotto. And I'm going to start with a little bit of butter, about 2 tablespoons of butter. You are free to use ghee. If you like to use ghee, you could use olive oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil. For the risotto, the butter gives it the nicest flavor. So that's why I'm using a little butter. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a little butter and a little olive oil because I don't know if that was 2 tablespoons of butter. So we're going to do both. And I'm going to start sauteing my mushrooms and onions. I'm going to cut up some more onions. They take a little while to cook. So I'm going to get that started. And let's cut up our onion. This is just a regular yellow onion. And who wants to know, I did this one of our sessions, I think, how to cut up an onion without crying. If you want to learn how to cut up an onion without crying, put cry in the chat. Put cry in that chat box if you want to learn. Otherwise, I'm just going to skip right over it. Okay. So, all right, fine. I'll tell you anyway. What you're going to do is cut out at a diagonal the bulb at the bottom of the onion. And they say that this is what makes you cry. So I cut that out. So now let's get rid of the onion peel. I'm trying to get this in the pot soon because I want it to cook evenly with the mushrooms, and I have to put some more mushrooms in there. You can use whatever mushrooms you want. I had portobellas. Portobellas have a lot of flavor. And no, you can do, there's oyster mushrooms, whatever mushrooms you find that you want to use. I will say mushrooms are anti-cancer. So eat as many mushrooms as you can. Eat as many mushrooms as you can. Who can finish this sentence? A dull knife is a, does anybody know? A dull knife is a, who can finish that sentence? A dull knife is a what? Anybody can finish that sentence? A couple people said cry. Good. A dull knife is a, somebody, dangerous knife. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. So make sure that your knives are sharp. Make sure your knives are sharp. And one of my knives, I had it set aside to go to New Jersey with me to go see my dad because he's a barber and he loves to sharpen his tools, and he sharpens my knives for me. I forgot to bring it. Good thing I have my other knife that I don't use that often. And now that I'm using it, I miss it. I really like this knife. You don't have to spend a ton of money on knives. You really don't. Just get some good knives and treat them well. Wooden cutting boards will not dull the knife, which is why I love wooden cutting boards. We're going to put a couple more mushrooms in there. Again, these are portobellas. I'm not picky on how I chop my mushrooms. Everything does not have to be the same size. You know what? I don't have time for that. I'm a hungry girl and I'm lazy. Don't have a lot of time. I'm not really that lazy, but I like to take shortcuts to make things really easy. You see how I just chopped it all up? They teach you in culinary school, and even my sister, everything has to be the same size so that it cooks evenly. They've got a really good point. They got a good point on that. But who has time for that? Who has time to make everything the same exact size? I don't. Not only that, but the heat is on. The onions are cooking. I need to get these mushrooms in there as soon as possible. And I'm just going to do the best I can to get them nice and chopped up. Okay. They're going to shrink anyway in the heat. They're going to shrink anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. And I will say, the more mushrooms, the better. I have 2 packages of mushrooms here. This will be my last one for this, so that we can save some mushrooms for the fish. Okay. Never scrape up your vegetables with your knife. It dulls the knife. Now, as we are moving through our cooking class today, I want I want interaction. You want to learn today. So I want to know, what are your questions? Type them in the chat. If I can't see it, my assistant Caitlin will see it. Ravinder will see it. They'll call it out to me and we'll go from there. Okay. Yes, a dangerous knife is a hazardous knife. A dangerous knife, a dull knife is a hazardous knife, or a dangerous knife is what I say. We're going to let that cook up. And while that's cooking, we're going to deal with our cauliflower. Cauliflower can be kind of a pain. Now, they do sell riced cauliflower in the freezer. I have not made this dish with riced cauliflower. I feel that I won't even try it because it's going to have too much liquid from being frozen. I have to sneeze. I'll be right back. Pardon me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, so you don't want to use the frozen one because it's going to give too much liquid. You could probably do it and just cook out the liquid. But for this particular dish, I want to use fresh cauliflower. And I'm going to show you how to make cauliflower not so much of a pain, okay? You keep it in the wrapper. We're going to wash it, don't you worry. And I'm going to slam it down on the counter to break it all up. So I don't need to have my knife in there. Ready? Ready? Here we go. You ready? Put slam in the chat if you guys are ready for me to slam this. How many people do we have in there? Okay, I got 11 people participating today. I want at least 5 people saying slam, slam, slam. All right, here we go. You ready? Keep it in the package. Slam it down, slam it down, slam it down. You got some aggression, you got some anger, take it out on your cauliflower. Who says you don't use mussels in the kitchen? Who says you don't use mussels in the kitchen? Here we go. We're going to open this up and I'm going to put it right in my colander to wash. There's a couple of brown spots that I don't want, so I'm going to put them right. Now I'm putting my vegetable scraps in a corner over here. Who knows what I'm doing with my vegetable scraps? Does anybody know what I'm doing with my vegetable scraps? Anybody? Who knows what I'm doing? Who can guess what I'm doing with my vegetable scraps? Anybody? Anybody? I'm giving them back to Mother Earth. I'm giving them, see how everything just broke apart from slamming it down? So we have to mistreat our cauliflower. Not really. Not really. Okay, and there's a little more brown spot I want to get off. Give that back to Mother Nature, because why? Mother Nature knows what to do with it. In Italy, everybody composts. Everybody. It is literally illegal to not compost. Even if you live in an apartment, you have to find a hole somewhere, and everything that is umido, wet, anything that's wet, from the grease to vegetable compost, has to go into that hole that you dig and put all of the scraps. You're not allowed to put it in regular trash. This hasn't been washed, so I'm going to go rinse it real quick and I'll be right back. All right, next, what I did, oops, is I have my food processor. I will rice a whole bunch of cauliflowers, a whole bunch of heads of broccoli. Yeah, you rice broccoli and onions and zucchini if I have all this stuff left over, because once it's dirty, I just set up freezer bags and I will rice them and then put them in the freezer, but not for the risotto. And remember to constantly stir this, constantly stir it. And I'm adapting it with this particular tool. Take the S blade out and I put this one in there. And it will grate it finely. Okay, so let's just slip that in there. There we go. I'm going to put my lid on it securely. And we're going to rice our cauliflower. Oops. Trick is to get those pieces small enough. Get the pieces small enough to put in that hopper. Okay. Also, I went organic with my cauliflower because I just don't want pesticides. Our bodies can deal with certain amount of pesticides, but if you have cancer or if you want to avoid cancer, then you don't want to have your body deal with too much toxins, right? So if you go organic, you are most likely to not get as many toxins, right? Or any. And if you're a little skeptical on organic, look up the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. I think it's the Environmental Working Group that has that list. Rabinder, do you know who has that list of the Dirty Dozen, or Caitlin? I'm pretty sure it's the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, that puts that out. So you can find which vegetables have the least amount of pesticides on them that it's okay to buy conventional, and which ones you should absolutely buy organic, like berries and strawberries and apples. Oh, you found it. Caitlin, you're brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. It is the Environmental Working Group. Yep, that's it. The Dirty Dozen. Okay. We're done. We have hereby riced our cauliflower. There's always a bunch on the lid, so I'm going to remove that. Always be very careful with this blade. Don't be in a rush when you are dealing with knives or anything that is sharp. Do not be in a rush, okay? Do not rush, do not rush, do not rush. Look at all of that riced cauliflower. So now it's time for the cauliflower and then some broth, okay? You should be about 4 cups of cauliflower. This head was really a big head of cauliflower, so it's more like 5 or 6 cups. So I'm probably going to need a little bit more broth, a little bit more of all the rest of the ingredients. Because even if you want to measure out 4 cups, what are you going to do with the rest of it? You can freeze it. Yes, you can freeze it. But I'm too lazy right now. You know, just get it all in there, cook it all up. My family loves it. So there we have it. There we have it. Let me go rinse my hands. I got rice cauliflower all over it. I'll tell you, if you use this, if you eat this, you really won't be able to tell the difference that it's cauliflower versus regular rice. I didn't even tell my husband, and he had no clue. He had no clue whatsoever. So now I'm going to make a little bit of broth. I always keep on hand bone broth, powdered bone broth instead of bouillon. Many bouillon is full of MSG. MSG is an excitotoxin, and it's hidden under a whole bunch of words, 78 plus words that it's hidden under. And we just don't want that in our bodies, because the excitotoxin literally passes the blood-brain barrier and it goes to our brain cells that are most susceptible and kills them, literally kills them. And now you can get I always get organic bone broth, and or this one's from Jarrow, Beyond Bone Broth. And it's beef flavor. You can do chicken flavor, you can do vegetable flavor, you can do whatever. But I love bone broth because it's full of collagen. That's really good for your connective tissues, for your joints, and also for your gut. Very, very, very good for your gut. And it's convenient. You always have it on hand. So I'm going to put about a cup of that broth in there that I just made. And oh, you know what I should have done? You're supposed to put the herbs in at the bottom and the oil, and I forgot. So I'm going to put, if you had fresh thyme, you would put it in now. If you had the dried thyme, you would put it in the fat. I forgot, and that's my bad. The other thing I forgot, which whatever, it doesn't make a difference. I'm going to stir this all up. Give me a second. Is garlic. I forgot to put garlic in here. Garlic works beautiful with this dish. So might need a little bit more water, which I'll get to that in just a few moments. Okay. We'll get to that in just a few moments. Let's get some garlic. Okay. Who here uses fresh garlic? Who uses jarred garlic, and who uses powdered garlic? Put it in the chat. Let me see it. Put it in the chat. Peg, I don't understand your question. USDA. You have USDA with a question mark in there. What are you asking me? Oh, about the website, right? For the Dirty Dozen?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay, yeah, and using all three is perfectly fine. And I want you to know something super important. I'm Italian. My parents are literally, my mom literally came from off the boat. She came on the boat across the Atlantic Sea when she was 17 years old. And Atlantic Ocean, I meant to say. And garlic has been a mainstay in Italian cooking, as many people know. You want to use fresh garlic. If my mom ever saw powdered garlic in my house, which I do have, I use it for rubs and stuff, she would go, "What are you doing? You want fresh garlic because," and it's okay to use the powdered, it's okay to use the jarred, but you're not going to get what you deserve to get from garlic, which is immune boosting properties, also antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial. Really, really, really important for your health. So you see how easy it is to peel garlic, get the back of your knife, smash it, and then you cut off the little nub at the end, and then the peel comes right off. Even if I didn't get this in with the sauteed onions and mushrooms, it's okay. It's still going to cook up in there. I'm going to cut them up into small little pieces. Okay, I think I got a piece of garlic in my water. It's not going to be fun to drink water with garlic in it, but whatever. Immune boosting properties, right? Immune boosting properties. I remember as a kid, I was always in the kitchen chopping garlic, and of course cooking with my mom, but chopping garlic was always one of those tasks that no one wanted to do. No one wanted to do because we didn't know the trick to get the garlic smell off of your fingers. Does anybody know the trick to get garlic smell off your fingers so you don't smell like garlic all day long? Does anybody know the trick? Yeah, minced garlic. Anybody know the trick? Stainless steel. Rub it on a spoon. Yes, yes, smart. Rub it on a spoon. Stainless steel will get rid of the garlic smell. Lemon juice does too, but the stainless steel, I'll just wash my hands on the sink and then rub it all. My sink probably smells like garlic. No, I'm teasing. I made something yesterday. What did I make yesterday? I made a coleslaw yesterday with avocado garlic dressing. And my husband comes home. He's like, you smell like garlic. And I said, yeah, do you want some coleslaw? That's the trick with garlic. That's the trick with garlic. You have to feed it to everybody that's around you, and you'll all cancel each other out, right? You all cancel each other out. I'm going to bring this to the center so you can see it a little bit. Just take it off the burner. And so you can see what it looks like right now, since I don't have my close-up camera today because it is not working, but that's okay. But this way you get a little close-up. I know, I hear you. Induction burners are a little fussy-wussy, a little fussy-wussy. I'm going to put a little bit more liquid. I'm going to go get some more liquid. By the way, I want you to know when it comes to water, you never drink alone. There could always be parasites or bacteria or heavy metals in your water. So make sure you use a filter. Make sure you use a filter and change your filter often. Okay. Yeah, that was a huge head of cauliflower. So that's why I might need a little bit more liquid. I might not, but we'll figure that out later. Now what we're going to do, we're going to let this cook for a little longer. I'm going to put it on low. I'm actually going to put it on my stovetop so I can start making the fish for you, the fish dish. And we're going to put it on low, and I'm just going to stir it every few moments. Okay. All right. I hear you. Fussy-wussy burners. I'm going to put it on low, medium low, maybe a little higher. We'll put it on medium. And we'll stir that every once in a while. Okay, so we're not done with it. There's more stuff that we have to do to it. We have to put some coconut milk in there, some Parmesan cheese, a little bit of salt and pepper to finish it off. Otherwise, it is done. Now, with the fish recipe, we're going to make flounder, we're going to make wilted spinach and mushrooms. We have time. We're going to do the mushrooms as well. And what was I going to say? All right, let's get started with the mushrooms first. Let me go back, chopping up all the mushrooms. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The recipe says to cook the fish first, right? Cook the fish first. And I've done this so many times. I don't know why that recipe was done that way. or the way that I wrote it up that way, that you cook the fish first. I want you to cook the mushrooms first. And here's why, because the mushrooms are going to take a little longer to cook up. And we don't want the fish to get cold. We don't want the fish to sit out and get cold, because flounder is a very thin fish. Let me take it out of the fridge real quick too. I went to the fishmonger last night and I got some nice thicker pieces of flounder. And I want you to know that if fish smells, do not buy it. It should not have that fishy smell to it, okay? It should not. Maybe a slight, tiny bit, but nothing crazy, okay, people? Nice, fresh fish. Fish, either buy it frozen, and right before you're going to eat it, take it out, run it under cold water, and then cook it, or buy it fresh from the fishmonger and cook it right away. Okay, cook it that same day. Like I said, I went out last night and I bought the fish. So I want to make sure that it's nice and fresh. It's funny, there is a fishmonger near me. Yeah, it's called a place called Shoreline Seafood, and they were closed on Tuesday night, and they didn't open today until 11. I didn't have enough time to go there, buy the flounder. Last time I bought flounder from them, the flounder was a half an inch thick. Unbelievable. Half an inch thick. It was beautiful. So I had to go to the Giant last night. Really nice man. He found the biggest, thickest pieces he could for me. I like them thicker when I'm cooking them in a pan. Okay, I like them a little thicker when I'm cooking them in a pan. So the mushrooms, we're going to caramelize them. We're not going to caramelize them. We're just going to cook them up. And then I'm going to teach you how to deglaze a pan. I'm sorry. Cook up the mushrooms, and we're going to wilt the spinach on top of that. Then we're going to deglaze the pan. Then we're going to cook the fish and then deglaze the pan. Oh my gosh, so many deglazings going on. It's all good. So much chopping going on. All right, who loves mushrooms? Put mushrooms in the chat if you love yourself some mushrooms. If you love mushrooms, but yeah, lemon does. That's for the garlic. Yeah, lemon does a good job. If you love mushrooms, put mushrooms in the chat. And when I talk about anti-cancer, eat your mushrooms. 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 What do you think? Should we put some garlic in here? Put garlic in the chat if you think that we should put some garlic in with our mushrooms. What do you think? Should we put garlic in with our mushrooms? Yes, yes, yes. Garlic. Put garlic in the chat if we should put some garlic in with our mushrooms. All right. Let's smash up some more garlic, some more immune boosting, wonderful things that came from Mother Nature. Love Mother Nature.
And Tina, you did have a question. Somebody asked what deglazing was.
Great question. I love questions. I love questions. Ask away. Once I'm done cooking the fish, the bottom of the pan still has a little of the oil in there. It has some salt and has some pepper. And then I'm going to get some vinegar, some kind of acid, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to scrape the bottom of the pan and pick up all of that stuff that's left on the pan with the acid, and it's going to make a nice little sauce that we're going to pour over the spinach. And I feel like all I'm doing is chopping garlic and mushrooms today. The spinach and the fish. Okay, which reminds me, I need to get some lemons, which I have lemons in the fridge. Okay, here we go. You can't have enough garlic. Remember, feed it to everybody. Feed the garlic to everybody so that it all cancels out. And you all get healthier for it, right? Okay, so now that we've talked about the immune boosting properties of garlic, are y'all going to start using fresh garlic? Y'all going to start using fresh garlic? Come on. All right, what do we have? Put the garlic in, keeps the vampires away. Yes, yes. You know, I have a lecture on time management, and we call some folks time vampires. All right, we're going to stir up our risotto. It's looking good. It's looking good. That needs a lot more time though, okay? You have to just cook it. Just keep cooking it. It'll probably be a good, I don't know, 20 more minutes before that's done. Let's turn this up. And I needed this spatula. If you didn't cut up the mushrooms enough, you can still cut them up with your spatula. No big wiggy. No big wiggy here. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there. What kind of salt do you think I'm using? Does anybody have a clue as to what kind of salt you think I'm using? Put it in the chat if you have a clue as to what kind of salt I'm using. Anybody know what kind of salt I'm using? It is not, no, that's a big thing on kosher salt. I don't like the kosher salt as much as I like sea salt. Sea salt is full of minerals, like 78 plus minerals that our bodies are lacking in because our vegetables, you know, it's just our soil just hasn't been replenished with all of the minerals, and our bodies are lacking in the minerals. So eat sea salt, use sea salt versus the sodium chloride, highly processed salt. Okay. Sea salt is minimally processed, and that's what you want, minimally processed foods. Okay. Now, while those mushrooms are cooking up, let me get rid of the garlic here. We are going to give me a second. Every time I use pepper and there's steam happening, yeah, makes me cough. It's all good. So now, while that's cooking, it's almost done. I'm going to get ready the fish. I'm going to ready the fish. And a lot of people bread fish, or they'll use white flour on fish. White flour is highly processed and bleached. It's been stripped of everything that's good for it. And it's also gluten, and gluten can cause a whole host of health issues, a whole host of health issues. Does anyone want to understand or learn a little bit more about what are those health issues that gluten can offer to people? Does anybody want to know what are those health issues? I'm going to use a little thyme on my fish. It's not in the recipe, but I decided that thyme would be really nice on the fish. Now, gluten, I'm not a fan of, because I had Lyme disease and the Lyme affected my brain. So anytime that I have gluten, it starts to affect my brain, just like MSG does. Okay. And gluten, when you eat it, let me ask you this. When you get the white flour, if you remember in kindergarten, we got white flour and we mixed it with water. What do you get when you mix white flour with water? Tell me that. What do you get when you mix white flour with water? Does anybody have an idea? Somebody, yeah, you get glue. You get a paste, right? I need to get a dish out over here that I forgot to get out. You get glue. When you eat gluten and anything that has gluten in it, which are many different grains, as well as a lot of packaged foods, it literally goes into your stomach and into the intestines like glue. It gums up your intestines. Inside your intestines, you have these villi-like structures, tentacle-like structures called villi, bigger ones and smaller ones. When the glue goes through this 1.5 inch, 21 feet long intestines, it literally breaks off the villi. The villi, what they do is they absorb vitamins and minerals and send it to the bloodstream so that you can nourish your body. So without the villi, you're not nourishing your body. Not only does it break off the villi, it also starts to permeate the cell wall of the intestines, leaking food particles right into the interstitial fluid, into your body. Now your lymphatic system has to work triply overtime to not just get rid of the normal toxins on a normal daily life, but also all of the food particles that have leached from your intestines into your body. It's called leaky gut, also known as auto intoxication. So instead, with that, it can disturb your brain, it can disrupt your entire body and make your body work much harder, which will leave you with a lot less energy. Okay. If you're getting this, if you're getting this, but get it in the chat. If you're getting this, but get it in the chat. If you're getting this, but get it in the chat so that I know that you are getting this. So that I know you're getting this and that I'm explaining it. Good, 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 good. Next, let me stir up our risotto. Always stirring, okay? You have to always stir this. That needs a little bit more time. Okay, instead of breadcrumbs or white flour, I use coconut flour, almond flour, tapioca flour. And I put a little salt, I put a little thyme. You can put a little pepper. I just don't want more pepper and right now. So now my mushrooms are cooked. You can see my mushrooms are cooked, right? Mushrooms are cooked. And now I'm going to wilt the spinach on top. The spinach will take maybe 2 minutes. You can do spinach. You could also do like a baby green mix, whatever you want. Always look through your spinach too, in case you have a piece that went bad. Okay, so here we go. I didn't change the heat, nothing. I'm just putting that whole clamshell full of spinach in there, and I'm going to put the lid on. And 2-minute timer, please, Caitlin. Okay, let that cook, and then we're going to plate the mushrooms and spinach, and then we're going to cook the flounder, and it's going to take literally 2-3 minutes each side, 2 or 3 minutes each side. That's it. Okay, I don't want to touch the flounder because then I have to go wash my hands. So I'm just going to bread it nicely. Now, another thing that you can do if you want a thicker breading on your fish is dip it into an egg and then into your flour mixture. Okay, this is just to help it from sticking to the pan. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do the breading. Okay, you don't have to. Now that I've dipped raw flounder in this breading, what should I do with it? Now that I've dipped raw flounder into this, what should I do with it? Anybody know? What should I do with it? Should I reuse it for another time? What do you think I should do with that? Chuck it. Thank you. Chuck it. Never. And even the plate that this flounder was on, I will not reuse it. It goes right in the sink to be washed. Okay, right in the sink to be washed. What was I going to do next? I was going to do something. All right, we're waiting for this to cook. Once that's done, oh, lemon juice. I need some lemon. We got to stir our risotto. And we're going to get a lemon out. You can deglaze with lemons, anything that's acidic. The lemon, the vinegars, apple cider vinegar is wonderful as well. Apple cider vinegar. How do you get more juice out of a lemon? How do you get more juice out of a lemon? You roll it on the counter and you get more juice out of it. You get more juice. There we go. And do I still have that? This is a handheld lemon juicer that I'm going to use. I think I'm going to put some lemon on the spinach because that sounds delightful. Doesn't that sound delightful? Have a little lemon on that spinach.
And your 2-minute timer's going off right now.
I was just about to ask. Yeah, I was just about to ask. Okay. For those of you who can't hear, you probably can't hear, but I have a kitten that's in my laundry room. She got locked in there and she's yowling away. You probably can't hear her. Poor baby. 2 minutes or more than enough. I'm going to squeeze some lemon on top of it. And the lemon is also going to help deglaze the pan a little bit. Get all the juicy bits off the bottom. Not that I need to do that now because I'm going to put the fish in there afterwards. Okay. So that's my lemon. And Here we go. You see, the spinach is wilted, but not completely wilted. You don't need to have it completely wilted. Shush, shush, shush. Okay, here we go. Cast iron skillets are very heavy, and they are worth every moment of their heaviness. Okay. Hey, you get to build muscle in the kitchen, right? Who here uses cast iron skillets? Anybody? If you use cast iron skillets, put iron in the chat. If you use cast iron skillets, put iron in the chat. Put iron in the chat if you use cast iron skillets. Now put iron. Yeah, good. Now put a 5 in the chat if you have a cast iron skillet that you don't use and got rusty. Put a 0 in the chat if you don't have a cast iron skillet at all. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know that I was like that too for the longest time. I had this rusty cast iron skillet and I learned how to use it, how to clean it really easy. I literally just clean it with steel wool and then put it on the flame for 3 minutes to dry. You don't even paper towel it, put a little more oil in it to keep it seasoned. And hold on a second, where are we? Deep fry. Nope, we want it here. Okay. I get so confused with my induction burner. I like gas. I like gas. All right. And so so I'll dry it on the stovetop 3 minutes, put the timer on, turn it off, add a little more oil, and it stays seasoned. It's really nice. And cast iron skillets, A, they cook beautifully. They cook beautifully. And B, you get some iron from it, especially if you're going to use an acid like lemon or vinegars and stuff. And tomatoes. Now we're going to do about maybe 2 minutes each side, but this piece is thicker than that piece. I got my oil nice and hot. We're just going to put our fish right in there. There we go. I'm going to keep that. I need those. We're going to chuck this, right? This goes right in the sink. And 2-minute timer, please, Caitlin. So it's true. You have to multitask when you're in the kitchen. It's true. I find so much joy even in my multitasking. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. All right. Let's see if we have any rust on the bottom. Yeah, do you have rust on the bottom? Do you want to know how to clean it? Let me ask you that. Do you want to know how to clean it? And I'll tell you how to do it. I'll tell you how to clean it.
There are a couple people that responded earlier. They want to know.
They want to know. They want to know. They want to know. Good. I'm just stirring this up. This looks wonderful. Get salt and oil. And I don't care any kind of oil you have. Get salt and oil and steel wool or a steel brush and rubber gloves. Throw the salt and the oil in the pot, on the back of the pot, wherever it is, and scrub the rust off. Steel wool, whatever you have, okay? Scrub all that rust off. Rinse it really well. Get rid of all of the salts, get rid of all the oil, make sure all the rust is gone, right? Put it, if it's really that bad and it's not seasoned, it's dry, it should be dry at that point with the salt and the oil. Put it in the oven at 500 degrees for about an hour. Open up your windows, it might smell, okay? Once that's done, let it cool, and then you can use it, and then it's re-seasoned. If after you've cleaned it with the salt and the oil, it still looks glossy, it still looks like it's oiled, then you don't have to do the extra hour in the oven. It's you can just put a little oil on it, grease it all around, and you're good to go. Put all around, okay? And then you're good to go. Are we coming up on 2 minutes? What are we coming up on here?
You got 5 more seconds.
Yeah, I think the one piece I'm going to let cook for 3 minutes on the one side. And the other piece, nope, I'm going to let it cook both of them for 1 more minute. What I pulled out of the drawer is an instant read thermometer. This is gold in my house for me. Before I used to destroy the inside of the meat to see if it doesn't look done. And with the instant read thermometer, you just slip it into the meat sideways. Don't let it touch the pan or bone. And you'll instantly know what the temperature is. And then if you don't know what fish should be at, what chicken should be at, what beef should be at, the numbers, if you can still see them, I'm 54 and I can't see it any further. I can't see it anymore. And it'll tell you. So fish should be about 145. Okay, I'm pretty sure fish should be 145. Yep, I can't see it, but I'm pretty sure it's 145. All right. Oh, it's my tail is starting to curl up a little bit over here on my flounder. Now, let's talk about fish. When you buy fish, you want to eat fish that is sustainable, and most sustainable fish is wild caught. Fish that is in the wild, not fish that has been farm raised. Farm raised fish have a plethora of issues. If the farmed fish quarry is near land, is it near farmland with all of the runoff of any pesticides, right? Also, when they're farmed, they're given antibiotics, and it's just not the healthiest. Think about this. Happy fish will make you happy, okay? If they're clustered and just not happy. I watched a show from, who remembers Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe? Does anybody remember Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe? Yeah, Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. He had an episode, and it was on farm raised fish. It was on tilapia and trout. They had the tilapia, 3-minute timer, please, Caitlin. They had the tilapia in the big tank that they raised them in. No sun, it was a big tank. Once the tilapia were, by the way, I don't think you can find wild caught tilapia. I don't think that it exists. Once the tilapia were full grown, by the way, each tilapia fish came up on a conveyor belt, got an injection of antibiotics, went back in. Yeah. All of that water did not get cleaned out. Then they put in the trout babies, and the trout fed off of the excrements of the tilapia. They didn't clean the water. And this is true. So that's what they fed on. That's why I will not touch farm raised fish at all. Always get wild caught fish, whatever it is. Fish is really good for your brain. It's full of omega-3 fatty acids that make your brain very happy, to say the least, okay? Any oil, I can't read what that says, John. And I did put a little oil on the bottom of the pan. Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I put a little bit of olive oil, and it says 10W30. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
That's car oil. Like oil you put in your car.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, John? No, you're not going to use that oil. What's the matter with you? No. All right. Fish is almost done, and then we're going to make our ginger yogurt. We're going to make our ginger yogurt that is amazing for your body. My fish, I'm checking it now. Let me check both sides. My fish is almost done. It's almost done. And oops, let's not use that. Let's use this one over here. The size of my pan is bigger than the heating element of my induction burner. So the outside of the fish wasn't as cooked as the inside of the fish. So I'm going to flip it around like so, let it cook for just a moment, and then we're going to deglaze the pan. I'm going to deglaze it with lemon juice. Where is that? Lemon juice and a little bit of white wine vinegar. Lemons are disinfecting for your body. My dad will always say lemon disinfects. And we always serve lemon with fish. My husband, very American, which is perfectly fine. My dad is trying to give him the lemon to put on his fish. And he goes, I don't want lemon on my fish. My dad goes, no, you eat lemon with fish. And he goes, but I don't want lemon on my fish. Anyhow, it was a battle. Finally, my mom had to get in the middle of it all and tell my dad he doesn't want lemon. And she had to take the lemon away from the table before my husband and my dad got into it about the lemon and the fish. However, It's okay if you don't like lemon on fish. However, fish and lemon go together. Okay, fish and lemon go together. Here we go. We're just going to plate our beautiful flounder pieces. There we go. Plate our beautiful, they were 145 degrees. And I didn't have to tear apart my flounder in order to find that out. Now, ready? We're going to deglaze the pan. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. I'm going to put some white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, balsamic, whatever you like. I don't want to do balsamic. I don't think it goes with fish. If you can hear it, you'll hear the little sizzle happening. The little sizzle happening. No, you're not going to use car oil on your cast iron skillet. No. John. So I'm just scraping off the little bits on the bottom, and the vinegar starts to evaporate a little bit. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Here we go. There's the mussel. And we're going to pour that broth with all the bits in it right on top. Okay. And there we have it. Our salmon over wilted greens and mushrooms. What an amazingly healthy dish. This is for your body, your brain, your family, your friends, everything. Okay, here we go. Let's put that aside. Oh, and let's go check on our risotto. Let's go check on our risotto. Let me move this. I don't believe what time it is. I still have to make yogurt for you, which it's super quick. The risotto is done, and I'm going to put in about three-fourths of a cup of coconut cream. I had one that I opened up the other day that's in a jar. Never store anything in cans. So there's our coconut cream. I'm going to put some grated Parmesan cheese. I have to tell you, in my household, at my mom and dad's, my dad always grades the cheese. My mom never buys it already grated. Never, never, never. I'm going to serve this. When I serve this, I'm going to cut up a whole bunch of scallions and serve it with some scallions. I'll serve it with some parsley. And I'll probably dab a little bit of butter on the top in the bowl that I'm serving it in. Look how delicious that is. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that gorgeous? That is our cauliflower risotto. I promise you, no one is going to know that it's cauliflower and not rice, unless you tell them. Unless you tell them. Okay, who's going to tell? Who's going to tell? Joke, you said any oil. Yeah, I know. I said any oil. You took me literally now, didn't you? Okay, let's make some yogurt. Ginger, fresh ginger yogurt. You ready? You ready? Okay, first of all, who's going to make this wonderful cauliflower risotto? Who's going to make that? Anybody here going to make that? I would love to know if that is something that, yes, you're going to make. Anybody? Yes, I got a yes. Yes. Good, 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 good. Now, we're going to make some yogurt parfaits with ginger. Ginger is very anti-inflammatory. Not only anti-inflammatory means it reduces pain, okay? It reduces pain. And you want anti-inflammatory in your life, not because you just want to reduce any kind of inflammation that might be happening in your body. Maybe from eating gluten, maybe from lack of sleep, maybe from eating foods that aren't the best foods for you. Now, I always get plain unsweetened yogurt, okay? You can do Greek yogurt if you want a little bit more protein in there, but today I'm going to use plain, not vanilla. They add not fruit on the bottom because they add way too much sugar. They add way too much sugar to it, and we do not deserve to have that sugar. Now, for lack of time on the show, I'm not going to grill my peaches. When you grill, I can put them right in my toaster oven, and that was the plan today. I was going to put them on my air fryer basket and toast it, but you don't have to. I like to cook fruit that is a little on the older side, I found these beautiful peaches at the store that are not on the older side. They are absolutely fabulous. So did you see how I scored it? And now I'm just going to twist it and it comes apart. These are white peaches. I think this one's a yellow peach. I like the white ones for some reason. So you can easily just toast it in the toaster oven and it sweetens it up. The store these days don't have apricots. I couldn't find them. I went to 5 different stores. So when a recipe calls for something and you don't have it available, don't worry about it. Don't worry. You can find other fruit that can substitute. What about papaya? What about papaya? Papaya is wonderful. I always share that with my sister because it's huge. What about mango? And same thing. You can grill the mango in a grill pan like the one I cooked the fish in or not. Okay. Next, I'm going to put some ginger in there. You can use powdered ginger, and it's the same discussion as before with the garlic. Fresh is better. So this is my ginger. You can buy a whole bunch of it. I always wash it. I never peel it. Don't know why you need to peel it. And chunk it up and freeze it. I haven't frozen this batch yet. And I'm just going to, I really don't know why you need to peel ginger. Anti-inflammatory, not only that, but it's also what's known as a prebiotic. What that means is in our guts, we have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria, right? The good bacteria cannot survive unless it has food for it to survive on. And we need the good bacteria to balance out, to help us digest food, to balance our hormones, for a whole plethora of things. Ginger is a prebiotic. Ginger feeds the probiotics, so they actually live longer in our intestines. And again, we need them. It's a known fact that 70% of Americans are overweight or obese. And it's a known fact that they have a different kind of bacteria in their gut. Basically, they have more of the bad bacteria and not enough of the good bacteria. So if you want that prebiotic effect, an anti-inflammatory effect of ginger, use it raw. You'll get the flavor from the powder, but you're not going to get the other attributes, All right, this is almost done. Here we go. And Caitlin's going to put in the chat a link to my free ebook for you. It's my Joyful Gut ebook, Joyful Gut Reboot Guide ebook, and you can become a part of my Facebook tribe if you'd like, or just be part of my world, or just download the book and enjoy the book. Okay, just talks all about the basics of living a life that's healthy, vibrant, and free. So from here, I'm going to mix in, I'm going to chop up my peaches. I'm not going to grill them. I'm just going to chop them. I grilled them the last time I made this. And I'm like, they're just as good when they're fresh, unless, again, the fruit is old. Okay, so if you want to get my free ebook, you can go ahead and download that. And as I'm putting the finishing touches on this dish, I would love to know, what have you found most valuable about our time together today? I'm going to put some slivered almonds on the top, some slivered almonds. Here we go. What have you found most valuable about our time together today? What is that 1 or 2 things that you're going to take away and go, yes, I'm going to implement that? We're going to put some cinnamon on the top too, because cinnamon lowers your blood sugar and is also a prebiotic. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut, and the good bacteria you're going to get from fermented foods, including yogurt. So you get a double pow with this particular dish. You get a double powwow with this particular dish. Now, what have you found most valuable about our time together today?
You had somebody ask about non-fat yogurt as well.
I don't like non-fat yogurt because we need the fat in our bodies. If you're going to use non-fat yogurt, make sure you put fat in the food. You need fat in every single meal. A lot of times they take the fat out and then they put the sugar in. I like full fat. It's wonderful for you. It's wonderful. I just don't go the non-fat version. Less processed is best. Less processed is best. So there we have it, our ginger yogurt with our peaches and a little bit of ginger and cinnamon and some nuts of your choice. Putting fresh ginger in your shot. Oh, good. Prebiotic foods, very informative. Thank you, John. And how to rice cauliflower in the food processor. Yes, absolutely. So yes, if there's anything else that you found most valuable about our time together, go ahead and put that in the chat. Let me just show you our wonderful dishes one more time. Our flounder with the wilted greens and sauteed mushrooms, and the amazing cauliflower risotto that I cannot wait to serve to my family and have for lunch today. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you from the top to the bottom to my whole heart. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for all of your wonderful participation. Thank you to the Fairfax Library for having me here today. And until next time, namaste. Bye for now, everyone. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.